Hey everybody, it's Benji here.
And Philip J. Fry.
We are the
Two Beans.
Two Beans.
Double Beans.
Double Beans, and we are going to start episode 2, our personal journeys into 2020 with a double shot.
Are we calling this episode 2 or episode 3 or...
I'm calling it episode 2, but we can call it whatever.
Okay, I just realized when I uploaded the first one, it's episode 1.
Since it wasn't a full one, I haven't been calling it episode 1.
Okay.
But...
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's okay.
Let's not get hung up on the small stuff.
Yeah, let's get hung up on the double shots.
Hey.
Oh, it's always tougher to go down.
Well, yeah, anyway, welcome.
Yeah, welcome everybody. This is going to be our second episode ever recorded.
Technically, it's third.
Technically, it's our third. Our second,
I said it wasn't going to bother me. It's going to bother
our
me
second,
forever.
Sorry, our second full episode.
It's okay. Yeah, so this one is also going to be about 2020, but this is going to be less about like all the stuff you all know sucked about 2020 and about like just what happened to us in case you want to hear about it.
Yeah, maybe you went through some of the same things we did, and us just talking about it allows you to be more open and allow you to be get through your stuff a little bit easier, because some of the stuff you can't do it by yourself. You got to be pretty open about it.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Part of this podcast, we've got to be more open as human beings.
Yeah,
we're learning that.
We're doing our best.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I think regardless of what happened to you this year, I think everyone's coming out of this year definitely different than they were before, whether they know it or not.
Yep. I'm definitely a better person, but boy, am I a lot more sad. More often. I'm also a lot more positive, too. It's just the valleys are a lot...
Yeah.
It's a lot more extreme instead of just right in the middle.
That's just what happens when a lot of things go on in your life. Yeah. Yeah, you got real high highs and real low lows, but that's just part of it.
Mm-hmm. You just gotta learn how to do it. All right,
yeah.
So let's go ahead and get started. We go with the big ones first. Let's do the big ones. So,
okay, sure.
Big one for me. I got a divorce.
I got engaged.
Moving out I moved out pretty quick, but
Yeah, and I mean, I will say, I know that like it's been kind of a delayed reaction for you. Like I think kind of going through some stuff, because I know when you moved in over here and when we saw you a few times over the summer, I was like, seems to be taking it fine. Yeah, and not that you weren't or anything, but I think with any kind of like big life change, there's a latency period before it like kind of can catch up to you, and not necessarily that you get real hung up on it, but a divorce is like kind of a situation that has a lot of gravity to it.
We were together for 3 years, so even if that was just a normal breakup, that would also be kind of a big deal. I luckily had another breakup with somebody who we dated for 2 years, like before this one, so it was like I was already kind of used to that.
Yeah,
I already knew what to kind of do, because I didn't do that one really well, so this one I was like, I can do this.
Yeah, that's why like this time I was like, well, he seems to be like taking things like pretty good compared to
the last time,
3 or 4 years ago, whenever that happened.
I would say most of my stuff now isn't so much divorce related, other than just like you unpack. Like I always look at it as like packing everything up and moving out into a new place. Like you have to pack up all your memories, all your feelings, all that, and you have to box it up. Move to a different area, move out all the old stuff or whatever that you don't want to keep. Yeah. And then you got to unpack everything, and you've got to address it as you go. So. Yeah,
and I'm just remembering. I saw this really good analogy for like kind of grief in general, and when you first have some sort of event that triggers grief, you picture it as like you have a box, and inside of it there's a grief button. Yeah. And at the beginning, your grief's huge, so. Like, everything is going to trigger your grief and make you feel really bad because your grief's real big. But over time, the grief gets smaller, but it doesn't change the fact that, like, sometimes things get bumped around and you hit the grief button. So the grief is still the same because you're still kind of mourning whatever you've lost, whether it's, from a divorce or the loss of a loved one or whatever it is.
I think, too, a lot of people spend so much... Like, I always hear a lot of people from breaking up like, oh, I wasted my time. And I really wanted it to be, this breakup really, like, to be like, I didn't waste my time. Like, you know, I learned a lot. I learned about myself a lot. I grew a lot, you know. Hey, this is what I didn't do right.
Yeah.
This is what I did do right. I could have done this better, this, you know. So, like, making that not be a waste of time was kind of, like, the most important thing for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Out of that. So, you got married. You were not married. You're married.
We just jumped straight ahead to the marriage, yeah.
You got engaged. I was there for it.
Yeah.
I remember you guys were moving, and you were showing everybody the house, and I stayed up because Samson was up there. And I was like, oh, Samson was. I put my finger into the door.
Uh-huh.
And then I was kind of walking down, and I heard you start the process. I was like, oh, crap, oh, crap, oh, crap, oh, crap. And so I, like, ran down the steps.
So it was definitely, like, it was hard to, like, keep track of, like, who knew what and try to, like, corral everyone. Because everyone showed up at different times to help us move. I was anticipating everyone to, like, be there, like, roughly at the same time.
I mean, like, you know me, unless I have to be there, I like to be fashionably late.
Yeah.
And
of course, everyone that showed up wanted like a tour of the place, and that was supposed to be like the big reveal. So I gave everyone the big tour and then end with the proposal. And so like some people already saw like most everything, but I was like, oh, everyone, come on, come check out the kitchen.
And I was just upstairs busy with your cat.
But yeah, so that was awesome. It was nerve-wracking, but you know, it worked out well. Everyone was super supportive, and
I mean, who's not going to be, to be honest?
Yeah, it's not that I thought anyone was going to be like, I protest.
All of a sudden, your mom was like, I object. Like, why? Honestly, it's good that you guys did it, though, right? Because, like, you did, like, as we went through with last episode was that it got really dark.
Yeah, for sure.
It still gets really dark, and so it's good to have that kind of positive thing.
Yeah.
So
it's always going to be a nice little light, wholesome blip
on this black hole
on an otherwise kind of depressing year.
Yeah, people say light doesn't escape a black hole, but here we are.
Yeah,
you're getting
it's the ever shining light.
Engaged during
a pandemic,
a succubus year.
Yeah.
All right, so now the next thing. Okay, yeah, I'll go with losing 60 pounds.
Hey, yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I lost 60 pounds. I got divorced, and I weighed 300 pounds. And my goal is to get to 180. I did it. I lost the 60 pounds doing it my way, so it's a lot of working out and diet changing. It's been done numbers for my back. My back feels so much better now.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
My legs, my knees, all that feels so much better.
You gotta take things at your own pace, you know.
Well,
as long as you're, like, you know, healthy and you're not just killing yourself with food.
Well, and I have a well enough installed diet that I'm not gaining all that weight back.
Yeah.
So that's the good news.
Yeah, you're looking great.
Thank you. I still got ways to go, but I feel I'm good where I'm pretty happy with my progress. And I love walking, so that's kind of what took the gym. So I just walk like 2 miles every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My next
Your next
good thing that happened is we got another kitty. We got Missy. We
messing with Missy.
I guess I'll go ahead and address the sad part of it. Is we had a second cat that we got September of 2019. She is this lovely, sweet cat named Lucy. Yeah. She was hanging out at Jenna's parents' house a lot. We tried to find her home because we figured she obviously had to belong to someone, but you know, we did everything we could and couldn't find anyone, so we took her in. We thought she was like a kitten at first because she was real small, but the vet said no, she's at least 13, if not like way older. So we never really knew exactly how old she was. And she hung on for a good like 6 or 7 months. And, you know, it's hard to not get sad about that. But, you know, the fact that, you know, she was just old, you know.
Yeah.
Her time was coming, and we gave her a good 6-7 months where she got to stay inside. It was nice and warm. She had a good family, you know. And she was so nice and so sweet. So I know she appreciated everything. But she passed in April, so it was like right in the middle of lockdown.
Oh yeah.
Already lockdown sucked, like the you know, that first one that happened this year.
Yeah, and then here goes one of your bundle of joys.
Yeah, it was rough, you know, because it sucked because the day before I was like, okay, I'm gonna set a schedule, and I wrote out all the stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna follow this, because now that I don't have to go to work, I can set a schedule and follow the exact same schedule every single day. And then the next day was when we had to take her to the vet, and so that kind of like reshifted all that stuff. But
that's what I lost. I had a tortie cat, and she ran away right when I got back from Gulfstream, and then 4 days later I got a divorce. So I had,
oh God,
yeah. So I actually know you're paying.
Yeah. God, that pizza's made me all like. I'm just coughing this whole time.
I'm glad you clipped them.
It's just pepperonis in my throat.
Did I ever tell you that one time I was the first or second date with my not ex-wife but the girlfriend before that. I ate a pizza. We were bowling a lot at that time, and for some reason I had a weird thing of like getting hiccups when I would first eat, and so I had a pepperoni shoot up through the back of my nose, and I basically was like, ah, and I blew my nose and a whole pepperoni right in front of this girl who I was crazy about at the time. And I was like, I blew my nose and a whole pepperoni popped out. And that has happened a lot. Actually, since then. No, like one time I was eating Buffalo Wild Wings, and a whole Thai curry chicken, like bits went up.
Oh,
and,
God.
like, I blew my nose, and that was like TMI. But
oh, I wonder if like your nasal passage isn't just closed off from like your
I need
throat.
reconstructive nasal passage surgery.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, back onto cats.
Not to get too ranty.
Yeah. So after we moved into our new place and got settled in, we adopted our second cat, Missy.
Messing with Missy.
Messing with Missy and simping for Sam.
Simping for Sam. We need to get those on shirts.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
They do not like each other.
They throw in bows every time they come back.
Samson didn't like Lucy either. He's just spoiled rotten. He's so attached to Jenna, and I think that's part of it. He also he's as we've said before, he's got 3 brain cells, so he's just he's doing his best.
3 full stomachs and 3 brain cells.
Yeah, and it was one of those things. We adopted both of them. Went through, I think one with Petco and one with PetSmart, but they both went through LAPP, and both of their little bios said great with other cats.
Yeah.
And that was a lie.
Alright, so my next thing would probably be being an essential employee.
Yeah.
During this. So I was declared an essential employee right at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. I worked at home for a little bit, and worked part-time for a little bit, and then was back full-time. And then I got sent to a spirit ventilator project. I made like $10,000 on overtime this year. Being an essential employee. This dog.
Animals are doofuses.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna walk back.
I heard that in my... Look at how big that clip was. Give me that good stuff. Essential employee, bing bong.
Bing bong. Ding dong. So yeah, being an essential employee and making that much money like off overtime, like I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people, like I don't want to complain about being exhausted about working so much, because it's like, oh, there's people that don't have, they're not even working. And so, but yeah, I've been sent on so many different projects. I'm about to go on another one and make a lot more overtime.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like,
yeah, for sure. And I mean, yeah, like it's definitely really nice, and we're both really fortunate to have jobs through this that, like, we both know more than likely we're not gonna, like, the jobs that we work at aren't gonna go under like anytime soon. Yeah. Let's see what my next thing. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna be kind of combining 2 of these things, but the thing I'm most excited for is, obviously, like, I'm super stoked that we're doing this podcast. Like, it feels awesome to be doing something really creative.
That was my last one to talk about.
And getting into that. But I've also been working on, my music production and
which that's sounding great, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm really excited about it. I started that like 2.5 years ago, give or take, and it was just because I hadn't written music or recorded anything in so long, that I was to a
Yeah.
point where I was like, I don't care what it sounds like. I'm gonna set up a microphone in front of a guitar amp. Didn't know anything about interfaces or anything like that.
I'm gonna just send
And,
it. I'm gonna send it.
Yeah, and so I just did it. And, you know, each time I kind of set that goal where it's like, okay, I'm just going to do this and I'll be happy with it, I would find something that I could actually fix to make it sound better, you know? And that's been the whole process is I'll get to a point where it sounds good, and then, you know, there's always something you can do a little bit better.
Yeah. Well,
These days, the tools are out there, and, you know, there's plenty of, like, good courses out there that you can take from people who have been doing this for years. So that's been a lot of fun. I'm hoping to officially like open up a studio next year.
That'll be cool. Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm hoping to start recording some local artists and, you know, just get, you know, friends in to, you know, come lay down some stuff just so I can branch out and do better at more than just me recording my crappy deathcore songs.
Cool.
Yeah. If you're out there and you're listening, you know, and you want to either, you know, have us check something out, or if you do want to have something recorded, you know, hit us up.
You guys are
working to start building up a portfolio of things. So right now, I'm super cheap, if not free. So take advantage of that while that's the thing.
Okay. Mental health.
Yeah.
It's been a struggle, like learning, because I've been to therapy before. And so therapy always taught me how to handle it. You know, how I can do better to handle things. And you know, I was learning it, and it eventually just got to me. It's gotten to me a couple of times. It's just, you know, learning all that stuff. And, you know, trying to relearn how to be single this year was probably not a good year to do it. Like, I'm bad at Tinder. I'm awful.
I don't know of anyone who's actually good at Tinder.
It's all learning curve, I think. I'm still relearning it. I know I was good at it 18 to 20 those years, which is the years you should be good at it. I'm not good at it anymore. Technology has surpassed me, and these young folks have surpassed me.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had like good advice for it, but like Jenna took like the first step and messaged me first, so it's like I literally didn't do anything.
If there's anybody
I thought about doing it, which is the cool thing is we were both like wanting to message each other the same weekend. But if it was left up to me,
I guess then I'm just, hey, if you want to be my white knight in shining armor, like, and just message me first, you would be doing me a ton of I'd owe you a favor for the rest of our time together.
Yeah, help our boy out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely mental health has been a big thing for me too. My whole life I've usually been relatively introspective. Like, even though like in the moments I may not necessarily I may not
Is that an earthquake?
just retitled this one like we're shaken by another really big earthquake.
Benji's dumb.
Just try to get those clickbait views.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like I've usually have a pretty good eye for like pinpointing like, okay, this is what's bothering you.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna do anything about it in the moment. And that's what I've been.
Yeah.
It really about 5 years ago was the first time I actively said like, okay, I know when I'm in a depressive state. Like I can now separate that from when I'm just sad, because that was the first half of it. Like when I really came to terms with the fact that like, okay, I'm pretty sure I genuinely like have depression. But I never understood it, because back then I always just thought it was like, oh, you have to have a trigger, or you have to have something that's going to make you sad. It wasn't until I realized that no, like if you have it, most of the time, like it just kind of sets in. Like there's not necessarily something that's like, oh, I had a bad day. Like, yeah, of course that can lead to it, but a lot of times it's just something that slips in. And once I was able to finally identify that and say like, okay, you're having one of those days, weeks, months, whatever, it's a lot easier to cope with it, because I know that this is not what my brain normally is doing. So that's helped a lot.
It's like mine have just been so weird. My depression, I think it's manic depression. Could be wrong. I'm going to see a therapist here soon to get re-diagnosed or re-evaluated anyway.
Yeah.
Make sure everything's still good or whatever. But like everything now this year has been so drastic for me. Like it's just like this really quick, sudden feeling of just emptiness and just heavy, can't breathe, start shaking, lights kind of go dim, eyes are hard to, like it's like almost like you're drunk.
Yeah.
For me, when this hits, I've had 2 of them. And these are not panic attacks, because I've had panic attacks too. I get panic attacks in my sleep because I have night terrors.
Lovely.
And like I'll wake up mid panic attack. So hey, ladies. But I don't get those often. But so that I've had 2 of these attacks. Anyway, in a way, I don't think they're panic attacks, but it's like a sad attack. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it, but. They're terrifying.
Yeah.
Also, I signed up for therapy, so
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
yeah, thank you.
It's big steps. Probably my biggest actual pinpointable stressor that leads to it is usually money related. So when I can when I can talk myself about it, I'm like, okay, I know you're stressed, but it's okay. You'll get it figured out. You don't need to solve all of your money problems tonight, because that's usually what overwhelms me. Because I'm like, no, I want to get rid of this. I want to figure this stuff out. And when I just calm myself down and say it's okay, you're gonna be all right.
Ultimately, doing it the way you need to do it is what you should do. But for me, when I had those issues, I still have those issues, and I do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Number one, I used to not look at my bank account and just be like, I don't want to see what I've done.
Yeah, same.
Totally not the right way to do that at all. And then the second one, so I started going to look at my bank account, and I started budgeting, and then I still went broke once. And I didn't budget in my payment out of pocket or whatever correctly, and so I went broke. Got my finances back up, whatever. I accrued debt doing that. But I made it through. I set up an Excel spreadsheet, and it just does wonders. And I make it all colorful. I got graphs that show how much money I have earned.
Oh, nice!
After all the bills come out, and then I also like to.
Maybe I should have you set up a spreadsheet for me.
I can just take my spreadsheet and then just throw all your information in.
Okay. I don't know how Excel works, but
Excel's great. And I can do that for you.
Yeah,
but it gives you a little thing, just a visual, this is how much money I can spend.
Yeah.
And then I also budget in how much I can spend on just silly things that's...
Yeah, and that's kind of where I've been at, and I've been getting better. But yeah, I definitely have those times where it's I forget I have this thing, and then it's I got no money. Okay, I guess that bill's gonna have to go on a credit card or something, because you got no money. But yeah, and a lot of that I've noticed is also my ADHD is I have a hard time organizing that stuff and then sticking to that organizational plan, which I've gotten better at, and I'm trying not to beat myself up on the weeks that I don't
set yourself up for success.
Yeah, because if I build myself up and build up all these big plans real fast, the first time something doesn't go right, I crash down and I'm starting back from the bottom. So I'm trying to each time I don't follow through exactly how I wanted to. It's it's okay. You don't have to completely have a meltdown and start from -10. It's even if you go back to 0, it's okay. You can figure it out.
Well, and then that kind of leads us into the best thing about 2020 right now. I think for me, not probably for you, you'd be getting engaged. But starting this podcast has been... we kind of went into the introduction how much we've kind of always talked about it, and I've always had just a real hankering to start a podcast, especially once I started watching Smosh and started getting into Kevin Smith's Fat Man Beyond and stuff. But it just worked out. It was one day it just clicked. He knows how to do video or audio editing. How much harder is it to do video editing? It's hard.
It's tricky.
How much can I throw on him?
Yeah, it's okay.
But I
needed to figure this stuff out.
I'm learning that stuff too. Anyway, I record my own stuff here and just play with it. But it worked out, and I'm really happy that we're doing it. Really happy. I think still messing with stuff, still tweaking things, but
Yeah.
I think the way we're handling it is, again, we're setting ourselves up for success by not getting too attached to one thing or getting too attached to schedules. You know, you'll see that we release a lot of stuff saying, hey, this is what we're thinking, this is what we're going to release by, but we're never going to set hard dates until we have it done.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what
sure.
I'm hoping we do.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with if we get to a point where we're comfortable saying, like, we're going to do this, you know, on these times every single week or something like that, if we get to a point where that's comfortable. But, you know, while we're still just figuring this stuff out, figuring out what our flow is, you know, trying not to ramble too much, and, you know, figuring out the audio side, figuring out the video side, figuring out all those social media things, you know, like, we're going one video at a time.
Yep. And, you know, I think the biggest thing, too, is, like, we're going to have times where we're not going to feel like doing this because we both work full-time. Mm-hmm. We both have lives outside of this. So we're figuring all that out, and it's been an adventure. We've been on it for, a month?
Yeah, something like that.
But
like, since we, like, officially decided we were going to do this.
Yeah, since we talked about it, and then we started ordering equipment, and then 2 weeks after that, we set up the social media stuff and recorded our intro, and then,
we're doing things, you know?
We are. Yep, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you can do things, too. That's, like, something I want everyone to take away from this, because, I mean, even if, like, this isn't, you know, we're not banking on this being, like, like a big thing or whatever, but, like, it's something
but God, would it be great if it was?
Yeah, that would be awesome. But you know, it's something that brings us joy, makes us feel fulfilled.
It's
like
creativity outlet.
Even if all we're doing is just sitting here yakking with youth.
Yakking with our anus.
If that's all we're doing, you know, like, it feels good, and it gets me out of the house. Gives me, like, something to do when I'm not working, and when I'm frustrated with my music stuff, I'm like, I'll go record a podcast and I'll feel good about that.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of people who are genuinely interested in what we're doing. To the point where it's like some of them wanted to be on. It was kind of fun. So, like, we're part of this community, so if you're community members, in which everybody is, by all means, you're welcome on this podcast. Yeah. And if you have any sort, we'll figure that out. Just slide into our DMs. And
just grease on in there.
Grease on. All things considered, talk to us about our podcast.
So you want to wrap it up with that?
Yeah, I think so. Just a heads up, our next episode after this is going to be, I'm not going to name the number of it because I don't know anymore. Life's a mystery. But it will be over collectibles.
Yeah.
These dudes.
Yeah, we both love collecting things, and we both have a lot of, like, different, like, franchises and stuff that we love. Yeah,
if you walk into our houses or apartments, it looks like chaos. But honestly, I think the way we go about collecting collectibles, we're fairly organized.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten better at it with time.
So, excited to talk to you guys about that. I hope you guys look forward to that. These 2 part 1s and part 2s were not necessarily the comedic.
Yeah, these are a little darker episodes.
Episodes that we were really selling people on, but we promise it'll get more lighthearted with the occasional chance of rain here and there. But
and I'm proud of us for sticking to it and saying, like, okay, we're going to talk about 2020 and make that the thing, and then we did it, you know?
Yeah, we can do it. That way, too, like, you guys can see how we think, which is what the first podcast was about. Or not the introduction and the first full episode, and then this episode is going to be just learning about us, and we'll have more little things like that throughout as we go on and move on. So
for sure,
excited.
So if you want to keep following us along, we will have a card at the end of the video with all of our social medias. It's usually at 2 Beans or 2 Beans in a Room podcast, something along those lines. And drop a comment in the comments section.
Yeah, smash that like button.
Yeah,
punch a bell and go like our bell.
Yeah, if you wanna keep up to date every time we put out a video, just subscribe to the channel. I don't know if there's a notification thing, but yeah.
This is a symbol for me dangling a bell.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
Yeah. So you'll see all that at the end of the video, and thanks for watching.
All things considered.
And
I hope that's not copyrighted.
All beans considered.
All beans on my plate. Bye.
Bye.